fans, Autistic Explorer here. I made a promise to talk about epilepsy with you guys um, after showing you around Smithtown and what it's like, what Main Street is like without Smithtown Day going on, right? So here we are, and don't mind me. I'm in a white robe because I slept the night at my mom's. But anyway, yeah, So I know people with epilepsy, although I'm going to be very honest with my right hand up. I mean, a lot of times it can mean seizures as far as health problems are concerned. And I'm not saying it means that you have health problems, but what I am saying now, what I'm about to say, and I feel bad for a lot of you that have it, is that, there are certain things that unfortunately you can't do. Drive, all these things that, and all these things that you want to take advantage of the way others do, that I'm sure a lot of you feel left out from. A lot of glare in my background. How's that? So, let me walk into the backyard since it's a little hot in here. Well, it's actually hot outside, but it's cooler out because it rained before. And the door's locked. We keep this for security purposes so that nobody breaks in. And it's raining outside as it is. Once again. Damn it. But there's the pool in the backyard. Anyway. Yeah, I have friends of mine who have epilepsy, and they haven't really once had any seizures. But does it mean seizures? Yeah, it does. Unfortunately, I have to be honest. Some of you, I'm sure, don't want to believe that. Some of you out there who have epilepsy, you don't think it means that because and I understand. Please, with my right hand up, I understand with my heart what it's like to what it's like to feel like you don't want to be different and to not admit not admit it. You know what I'm saying? Because you want to do all these things that people of this world take advantage of. Driving, working careers where, that involve a lot of competitiveness. I understand. And you still can work. There's still some competitive jobs that they do. Jobs, if you will. Sure. Driving and operating machinery, though. I mean, listen, for your own safety, I wouldn't do it because if you ever had a seizure while doing so, you could get hurt. You could get killed in an accident. You know what I'm saying? And look, with my full heart, I mean, there's a lot of things about me that I have that might be different from seizures, anything to do with seizures. Like epilepsy would be it, pretty much. And the only reason why is because there are things that I'm doing right, and I'm doing it because I don't feel any different than anyone else. With autism, with maybe a little bit of Asperger's that I do have because of my intelligence, but hey, we're all intelligent in our own ways, no matter what your disability is. Even if you had epilepsy, sure. Intelligence, you guys may know how to drive. I mean, people with epilepsy may have tried taking the test because maybe they don't admit that they have epilepsy. And the reason why is because they don't want to be discriminated, and I get it. I get it completely, 100% plus one more. And I'm saying this with my full heart because there's a lot that I want you guys to put yourselves through. With that has a lot to do with education and success, if you will. But then there are things that we kind of can't do that I'm sure epilepsy all by itself would probably stop you from doing. Driving a car, operating any sort of heavy machinery that I have seen some do before, but amazingly, I haven't seen them have any seizures while operating heavy machinery of any sort. And such as like a moving vehicles, you name it, a train, a boat. You know what I'm saying? But with my right hand up, I can tell you it because of the fact that it actually does mean seizures, like having seizures, because a lot of people, a lot of disabled people who have had epilepsy or have been, maybe have been diagnosed it for some sort of reason, have had seizures before. It's been proven that it's not safe to do all these things, and I just want to like put it out there because for your safety, okay? Of pretty much all my friends who may have it, a lot of my friends don't drive for all kinds of reasons. And in the disabled community, you have to understand. Even if you have maybe part, like maybe not full-blooded epilepsy, like full epilepsy, but maybe some, God knows what your health could be like. But there are medications for it that may allow you to operate heavy machinery of, again, all kinds. And at the same time, the best thing I would do if I were you, if you're ever going to do it for some reason, please just do yourself a favor. Just make sure you watch your health, because epilepsy is no joke. I have met people with epilepsy who are epileptic. Let's change that up a little bit, the word up a little bit, epileptic, who have had seizures before in the past, and it's scary. It's scary. And if it were me, I would want to ask my doctor for some advice on what to do to control it, to control your health and your control seizures, so that it doesn't happen. You know what I'm saying? And I know a friend of mine who has seizures, and she's pretty strong. I mean, I haven't seen her have one seizure since the day I met her, but she's very, like, she must be on top of it, because I've seen people who try to be on top of it but just can't make the time to be for some stupid reason, for whatever reason possible, and they get seizures, man. I mean, they get seizures all the time, and it's a scary thing to watch. I've seen it once before. When I was at NYIT, I met somebody who had 2 seizures, who was sitting next to another friend of mine. Well, he wasn't quite my friend, but acquaintance of mine who dormed next door to me. Sat right next to him in the movie theater on the Friday night movie trip. And thank God I wasn't there to see that. But I did see it in the cafeteria, and he was sitting right near me, right at the table right next door, diagonally. And I was like, oh my God, this is horrifying. I felt terrified. Like, it was horrifying. And yeah, as much as I don't want to say, it means it doesn't. I'm not necessarily saying that it means having all kinds of health problems, because your health may be in tip top, but there is one thing to do with your health that epilepsy can cause, and it can cause having seizures. Which is why, you got that. Which is why you really gotta listen to your body. Do what you feel. Do what you feel is gonna control. Don't lose hope on it. There you go. Don't lose hope. Stay healthy. Don't lose hope. There's still hope. Even with epilepsy, there's still hope on a lot of things that people also take advantage of. Um, I don't recommend, although I have seen them try to operate heavy machinery or any kind of heavy machinery. I'm not saying there's no hope with that, but just know that there's some situations with that if you ever had a seizure while operating heavy machinery, it can be a death wish. It can be a death wish if because that's where distractions happened. I mean, it's not like once you have because once that seizure starts, you don't have control over yourself. You don't have control of anything. And then, yeah, of course, that's an accident waiting to happen. Okay, it looks like the rain stopped a little bit, so we can walk by the pool and talk about this somewhat a little. There's the pool. I cleaned it. I did it all by myself, and it looks like it's doing good. So far, so good. So, yeah, try, you know, really try to watch yourself if you know you have epilepsy, try to watch yourself with, and take it from the heart. If you feel like, if you feel like you need to talk to your doctor about something that maybe you don't feel right about, or if you have a question about what you should be doing if you know you have epilepsy, whether or not you should operate heavy machinery, please ask the doctor. If the doctor says no, please don't disobey your doctor. Okay, your doctor is always right. That's what they go to school for. While we're talking about this, I gotta fix something. So, oh, look at that. There it goes. The pool cleaner got stuck on the drain there for a minute. It was like spinning out. There it goes. Let it clean the rest. So, yeah. So just please listen to your doctor. You guys are all my friends. You come from all different areas of the world, the country. It doesn't, listen, we don't have the disabled community just in the United States. It can be anywhere. I looked up, I happened to have wanted to research, I just happened to have done it out of the blue, researched the disabled community in the UK, and it's pretty big out there. It's pretty big out there. In fact, I actually YouTubed it. And yeah, there's some pretty intelligent disabled people out there with autism and sure, and listen, epilepsy's pretty big out there too. It's big everywhere in the world. It's big, the autism and Asperger's and it's all pretty big. I mean, it's when some of you might think, well, we just get it in the United States. Well, that's because you were born and raised in the United States and it's happened so many times where you're from. But it's not the only country that it's big in. Trust me, it's big in a lot of countries other than us. Canada, the UK, hell yeah. And face it, if you have, I've, I'm not saying you have health problems just because you have epilepsy. I'm not saying that, and I'm not saying that you're known to have seizures either. Maybe you've never had any before, luckily. But I just know that it's known for that, and I know that's why my best friend who says she can't drive. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's why. But look. As far as I know so far, she's never had any seizures in her life, and that's because she's strong. She's strong, she's tough. She hasn't once let go of hope, and that's all it takes. Don't lose hope. But there's one way to gain that hope. Keep up with your medications. Ask your doctor for advice on something that maybe, is your medication helping? If you don't feel your medication is helping, then maybe you should talk to your doctor some more about it. And, see what your doctor says. You know, maybe your doctor prescribed you something that might not have been quite right. So maybe talk about maybe there's not enough milligrams in the in your medication, and it's starting to rain again. You see? Look at this. I gotta get in. I gotta get inside now. Damn it. So, just try to keep in mind it's not a big deal, but it is. But seizures are a big deal. I'm not saying it's. I'm not saying it's a. I'm not 100% saying it's lethal, but it can be lethal. It can be. I've heard of people die from that, and it's sad. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart to have to say these things, because I don't want it to mean that at all. I don't want it to mean any of this, Because, look, what if I was born with that? You know? Just think of what would have happened to me. I probably never would have been able to drive, join the military, all these operate machinery like I've been doing all my life, and all this fun stuff that sadly most people with epilepsy never get to do, because doctor's orders, if you have a seizure, you know what I'm saying? It's dangerous. It can be dangerous, and it is dangerous, If you're driving your car or something, if you lie about that, that's the one thing you never want to do. I know some people who have had epilepsy and they've lied about it, saying, no, I don't have epilepsy, and I can drive. I'm going to go study for my license and, go drive my car to work every day or school or whatever. And look, it's happened unexpectedly, where seizures have happened sitting behind the wheel of a moving vehicle, and deaths have happened because of it. So, but then again, if as long as you're on the right medication, maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe you can operate machinery if you feel like you can. Still, you know what I'm saying? Don't take me like I'm just like, all I'm saying is, no, just because you have epilepsy, you can't drive a car, you can't operate you can't operate anything that moves, whether it's an airplane or whatever. If as long as you're not having any seizures and you're keeping up with your medications for it, maybe you might have a chance. But you got to cross your fingers with that. If I were you, I would cross your fingers, because and try not to go as crazy with it. If you're going to do it, just don't go, just with every, I only have one hand, because I'm holding the camera with the other hand, so I can't put all fingers together. But with all my fingers together, please, please just be aware of it, okay? Be aware that you do have epilepsy. Be aware that epilepsy has, when epilepsy is a seizure thing that can happen, and technically you really don't want to be operating anything that can be lethal. All right, do you understand what I'm saying? And again, if you feel like it's not gonna, if it's up to you what you think. If you feel like it's not going to stop you from sitting behind the wheel of a machine on four rubber wheels, or tires, I should say, or or aluminum train wheels that rides along tracks, whether it's a trolley, whether it's a train, whether it's a that does the clank clank clank, except one horn. Only one has the horn. I don't I don't know why we're getting into that now when we're talking about epilepsy here, but I guess one of the reasons why is because we're talking about why why doctors usually say you can't operate heavy machinery while when you have epilepsy. Well, doctors are just saying that for your safety, and they're right about it. They're right about it for one reason: seizures. Um, I don't usually like, again, I don't usually like saying this, but it does involve having seizures, which is why, which is actually the main reason to why doctors say don't operate any heavy machinery or any moving vehicle, that any sort of moving vehicle whatsoever, whether it's a helicopter or it's too dangerous. Because if if you do have a seizure sitting behind the wheel of this thing, no, whatever it is, it could be a motorcycle. I don't want to say it because it's too horrifying. But yeah. Um, but if again, I know people who really haven't had any seizures yet since the day they were born, and they have epilepsy. They're diagnosed with epilepsy, and that's part of their disability. And I'm not saying they're wrong about operating heavy machinery if they feel in their heart that they're right about it. But at the same time, if the doctor says you can't really operate heavy machinery when in doing so, it's for a reason. And this is where it breaks my heart when I hear about it, say it. I don't. I feel for them. I don't know what it's like to have epilepsy. I'll be honest with you, but I do. As a person with a disability, though, I do feel for them, because I don't like it when people tell me I can't do something. Let's face it. There's a lot I know I can do, but then there are things that I do have a weakness in, and I don't want to talk about it because I don't always like talking about my weaknesses. I like to talk about things I do that I can do. And you know what? Even with epilepsy, okay, talk about the things that you can do, and talk about things that you can do and focus on it. And who knows? Maybe there's always my you know what my best advice to you would be also with that is try to keep all possibilities opened. You know, is there a way? When there's a will, is there a way? Well, keep all possibilities open. Maybe doing certain things that initially your doctor told you not to do because of having a seizure. I mean, maybe it's possible that you might still have a chance, but again, you kind of have to really keep up. Just keep up with your meds. If you're on a medication for epilepsy because to avoid seizures, then my best advice to you would be to just keep all possibilities open. Maybe you'll be able to. Maybe you're able to operate heavy machinery without problems. But then again, there's other possibilities that you don't want, at the same time, that can get in the way. And once that gets in the way, I'm telling you, you're in trouble. Trouble. So, and this is where, like it's it's just heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to It's hard. It's heartbreaking to think about it. Because these people who have epilepsy, they want to do all these things. They can imagine themselves actually doing it. They've had dreams that they can drive, and then they can. The one, yeah, the one thing I know they can do is they can live on their own. Still, they can do that. I mean, that's different than operating heavy machinery. I mean, living on your own. I mean, hey, as long as you have someone that can help you with things, like keep, like I guess is yeah, as long as you have like a care manager, or like your care manager, your care provider. If like like what I have. You can always, if you, let's say you live on your own, away from your parents, and you want to know something. You want to know something like, okay, well, my medication is not helping me enough. I feel like, what is there a medication with a higher dosage that won't that will control my epilepsy so I don't get seizures? Well, there is. I'm sure there is, but I'm not a doctor, so I can't really give you the exact answer, but I can somewhat assure you 50% that there is. My advice to you would be to maybe ask your care provider, I mean, if you can't get to your doctor for some reason, maybe ask your care provider, ask your care manager. Ask your support staff who might know about this too, because maybe your support staff is a doctor too, or a nurse. You know what I'm saying? And I know this because I know people who are, I know some out there who actually are working for ISS, and they actually have experience in medical. You know, put your questions viral if you'd like, and maybe somebody will give you an answer, but make sure it's right before you just go around taking crap from people, because you never know. Some people might lie about that and say, "Yep, I know about it. I'll give you the answer." Well, be careful, That's all I can say. Please, be careful. I care about a lot of you. I care about a lot of you, and I don't want any of you to actually get it. I don't want any of you getting seizures. You know what I'm saying? I don't want anybody getting hurt or dying over it. I want you all to stay safe and not lose hope. And the best way to do it is to find out the best answer there is. And, do what you feel you can do, but just be careful, just be careful, because having a seizure is not a pretty thing, and it's not safe when it comes to anything anything dangerous that most people, even like myself even, okay, like to call the most selfish thing we do in life, okay? The most selfish thing that we do in life is we operate heavy machinery, for the most part. That's all. I mean, that's the most selfish thing that we do that I can think of, but in a good way, obviously, right? Not in a bad way. But can it be done in a bad way? Yeah, it can. And it can be used as a weapon that could kill you. That's why doctors usually say don't mix anything to do with operating heavy machinery with having epilepsy, because you're dealing with something that if you play with fire, they say, you'll get burned. And that's why you got to be careful. Anyway, so please keep in mind, please remember what I said. Give me a like, give me a subscription, and don't lose hope. just follow the star in your heart that your conscience provides and guides you within. And stay safe. Watch your backs. And yeah, like that. I mean, there's there's not much more I can say. All right. I'll talk to you all when I have it, when I have more to come up with, or even better, more to explore for you. Okay? Autistic Explorer out. Peace to all. I mean this.